Hello friends, welcome back to PlayStation News, hoping you are doing great. And here are 5 gaming stories that you need to know. Starting with some bad news for Killzone fans, as it seems that there's no hope for Guerrilla to come back to the series. This comes from an interview by the Washington Post to veteran studio art director Roy Postma on the upcoming LEGO Horizon game. In the interview, when he was asked about Killzone, he said, and I quote, "We were done with it as a team. As a studio, we needed to refresh the palette. It was by choice the opposite of Killzone. I think the themes that this story and the characters represent are relatable for all ages and people, like having a found family of friends and finding your own place in the world." Now, this last section was related to Aloy and how, according to Postma, she can speak to a wide audience because she has that strength of a character that can resonate with a younger audience. I think Killzone had great entries, but it kinda suffered compared to Halo, that was one of the most popular first-party shooters back then, and even when compared to other third-person shooters as well. So my guess is that the studio wanted a break from that, and with Sony doing a lot better with action-adventure games, they wanted to move in that direction and left Killzone behind. Now, who knows if the studio will look back at the series. Like them being done back then, it doesn't mean that they can go back to the series in the future. But Sony could also take the series to other developers for a new entry, and the fact that they haven't done that tells you that they likely don't want to revisit this franchise, at least for the time being. Also, first-person shooters are not the same as they were 10 years ago in terms of multiplayer. Now they must have years of content planned. And maybe it could have done better than Concord for sure, but then it would have to compete against a juggernaut like Call of Duty that has all of that figured out and generates a lot of money, which is why Sony fought back the Activision acquisition from Microsoft. I used to like the series back then. It was not like my favorite, but I like the trilogy from PS2 to PS3. And if Guerrilla doesn't plan to go back into the series, hopefully they can bring some of the classics through PlayStation Plus. So far we have the PSP titles, but hopefully they can bring the PS3 ones. It's a little bit of a challenge, but here's hoping that we can get some of those classics back. Now, would you like Sony to bring back the Killzone series in the future? Let me know in the comments. We stick with Guerrilla and more from that interview, but now for LEGO Horizon Adventures, as it seems that Sony was not the one that came up with the idea for the game, but LEGO themselves after the collaboration that they did for the LEGO Tallneck back in 2022. This was pointed out in the interview by Kate Bryant, project lead on LEGO games. She said, and I quote, "So we had a direct conversation with Guerrilla where we came to the table and said, hey, this Tallneck set looks really cool, but you know what would be even cooler? We fully expected for them to go, yeah, that would be cool and nothing would come out of it, but they match our enthusiasm." And after that, it was when Guerrilla came out and looked for UK team Studio Gobo to work on the game, as they were working on smaller games and also games for children, according to lead game designer Toño Gonzalez. Now, in a related story, Guerrilla told IGN that the role of Silence that was played by late actor Lance Reddick has been recast for the LEGO game. In the statement, Guerrilla's senior world artist Lucas Ball said, and I quote, "Lance Reddick tragically passed away in 2023 and he is deeply missed within Guerrilla and our community. He wonderfully portrayed the essential character of Silence in Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. The character of Silence does appear in LEGO Horizon Adventures, and we will introduce the new actor at a later date." So here's hoping that whoever gets to play this mysterious, amazing character of Silence can make Lance proud. I guess that we'll discover once the game launches, and there's not much for that. Guerrilla announced on Twitter that it has gone gold, so everything is ready for when it launches on November 14 for PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Now, talking about another upcoming game, we have the Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remaster, and Aspyr Media has detailed some of the changes to the game in regard to the bosses and a map. So their goal with the bosses was to improve the textures as much as they could while ensuring that they still fit in this apocalypse world. Melkaya, for example, had a full texture overhaul with a darkened skin and a slimier body, with a more realistic skeletal mapping coming out of his body as well, and a change in eye color to match the new design. The issue for Zephon instead was that it was too desaturated, so they completely repainted the model to make up for that. Rahab was one of the models that they changed the most. They added a reddish glow for a more menacing look into its eyes. It has a paler gray skin and its fangs are now made to look more vampiric in some ways. Then for Dumas they made like the armor look like dirtier and having patches of mold and blood, as he has been impaled during centuries. As for Kane, they have completely redone the design in both games to fix like texture issues and also increase the polygon count so that he looks closer to the model in the cutscenes, and also to have the model be consistent in both games. Among the new features there's a map and a compass, so the compass will point you in the right direction without telling you exactly where you have to go, while the map works more as a reference of the places that you can visit, since you can now track health and energy power-ups so that you know when you have collected everything in a specific area. Now for anyone that wants the original experience and discover the world without any help, you can also do that, as all of these will be options that you can toggle off in settings. I just can't wait to play this again. We are less than 2 months from launch, as it comes out on December 10 for all platforms. Another returning game could be Red Dead Redemption 2, as there's a new leak that is pointing out at the existence of a PS5 version. Now this is not the first time that we hear about this new gen port. The PS5 and Xbox Series ports were long rumored and were later corroborated after the leak that Microsoft had in September last year. After that, however, there was a leaker that said that Rockstar had cancelled this new version because of the poor reception of the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition. Fast forward to today and we have Twitter user Bogorat222 who found the LinkedIn profile of Rockstar production coordinator Emma Anderson. And among the titles that she has worked on, there's Red Dead Redemption for PS5 and Switch. The Red Dead Redemption port was only released for PS4 and later received a 60 FPS patch to work on PS5. So this is likely what she meant, and this is just a mistake on her part. Or maybe Red Dead Redemption 2 for New Gen was never cancelled. I think it's more likely a mistake, but what do you think is the likeliest option? Post your theories in the comments. Next, it seems that the problems at Ubisoft continue, and now it may have affected the Montpellier team that worked on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This is according to a rumor by French journalist Gatos, who said on a recent video that the team that built the game is no longer at the company, as it was disbanded since the game didn't meet internal sales expectations. Now regarding the future of the series, it seems that Ubisoft was very clear after a few weeks from the game's release that once they were done with the DLC, that would be the end of the support for the game. A sequel was pitched, but Ubisoft turned it down with the reason being that they didn't want to release another game that would cannibalize the long-term sales for The Lost Crown. For now it's just a rumor, but it wouldn't be hard to believe given all of the other issues within the company. And it's only tied to the Lost Crown series, as the remake is said to be still in development at Ubisoft Montreal. We also have Insider Gaming that said that they have contacted their sources to verify this report, but as of recording there's no confirmation. Hey guys, just as I was editing this video, there's new confirmation on this story. So this is according to Insider Gaming, that points out to a Ubisoft statement where the company says that the Last Crown team has indeed moved to, quote, other projects that will benefit from their expertise, end quote. Insider Gaming understands that most of them have moved to Beyond Good and Evil 2, Project Over, The Next Ghost Recon, and Project Steamboat, which is a Rayman remake at Ubisoft Milan. So regarding The Lost Crown, it seems that the game has sold about 1 million copies, and Ubisoft expects it will sell similar to the biggest Metroidvania games, and they will now focus on, quote, making the game available to more players, end quote. So yeah, sadly it means the end of The Lost Crown, but let me know what you guys think about this Ubisoft decision in the comments. And there you go, that's all of the news that I have for you today. Let me know what you guys think about any of them in the comments below, and also remember that you can find the sources in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for more PlayStation news videos like this. And with that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.